The Yankees are back on top. World champions for the 27th time. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers. That's the throw, Montana. Stepped up, thrown. This fight is over. Floyd Mayweather has a knockout victory over Ricky Hatton.
Relaxed and smiling.
Oh! He slapped him! Conor McGregor is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world!
Oh, unbelievable.
Come on, Mike off! Put the tap down, Mike off! Hell no!
Welcome back to Championship Rounds. As always, Marcel Pierre here to break down the marquee match we had this weekend, Saturday to be exact. Yes, the lightweight unification bout between George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. and Devin the Dream Haney. Yes, two combatants walk in and one walks out with all the damn gold. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you. Hey, you guys are the ones that get the wheels turning around here. So let's keep it moving as we push up the subscriptions. Yes, pound that subscribe, pound the like, so you don't miss anything on the horizon. And without further ado, let me break down exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to break down the build to the fight, of course, and then the post-fight. Then we'll get out of here. So without further ado, the first thing I want to talk about is undefeated fighters. Why is it that the undefeated fighters versus one another are the biggest fights going? Nobody remembers how Muhammad Ali lost? Hell, everybody's lost, unless you're Floyd Mayweather, Rocky Marciano, or Andre Ward. But still, the undefeated fighters get fans going because they haven't been defeated before. Once they've taste defeat, if you will, people see them as beatable. Why? Because they've been beat. But again, just like last weekend, or was it 2 weekends ago, who cares? We got two undefeated fighters coming in here, laying it all on the line for glory and gold. With that being said, George Kambosos Jr., hot off of his upset of Teofimo Lopez, who everyone was high on after he took out Lomachenko. Well, no one saw Kambosos coming unless they were close to him or his camp, and he shocked the world. He made Devin Haney go all the way to his turf to unify the belts. Yes, there was complications dealing with Devin's dad. At first, they wouldn't let him into the country because of felony charges he had, I think, about 30 years ago. They were trying to work on a video conference so Devin could still have his father in the corner, via that video conference. There were some hiccups with that. Ultimately, everything was put together and Devin's father made it in time for the fight. I'm not going to make this video that long, so the first thing I'm going to do is get into the build of the fight, where actually it was quite damn entertaining for the most part. So, this is the first press conference for Devin Haney versus George Kambosos Jr.
I become champion and realize I love this sport more than anything in the world. So, I'm very blessed to be here. I made this happen. If it wasn't for me, this wouldn't be happening today here. And bring on June 5th, this Sunday.
This means everything. This is a dream come true of mine since a young kid. This is the biggest achievement of boxing, and I can't wait for June 5th to come.
Why are you confident you can dethrone this man, George Kambosos?
Because there's nothing that he could do in the ring that's better than me, and I will show it on fight night. I take nothing away from him. I think that he's a good fighter, but I just think I'm on a whole different level.
It's great to be back home. 5 years, hard work. Everyone knows the story. I've had to go through every bit of adversity. I've had to earn my belts. Earned them the hardest way. Not like this guy. Got given a present. I earned mine. I took the best out. So it is great to be back home. Great to have the support. I know that stadium is going to be buzzing with my support. But I just love to fight. It's me and him in there, in that ring. So it's a great moment Australian boxing. And I'm very excited. I've been underdog my whole career. I was never meant to be here. So I keep turning up. I am the top dog. I am the top guy. So no problem. You can have me whatever odds, just like I was in the Lopez fight. And I will handle business this Sunday.
The same George that I always see. He's nothing but an actor. He's put on an act, a facade. But at the end of the day, I take nothing away from him. I have,
just like I acted with Lopez.
I have respect for him, and I look forward to sharing the ring with him and putting on a good fight for the fans.
Look, it's very important coming back to Australia to defend all my belts, the belts that I earned here in Melbourne. Had to do it here. Beautiful stadium, beautiful people, and my Greek population, my Greek people, obviously my Australian people, is amazing. So it's great that everyone's here. Everyone's going to be at the stadium. Unfortunately, as we all know, Devin's father, Bill, is not here at the moment. And again, I have tried my best to help that situation, but that's on them. But I really don't know how they let this guy into the country, to be honest. I don't think they let informants into the country. This guy is an informant. This guy is a rat. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because in the TFM Lopez fight against a foreigner, his own countryman, he was messaging me, telling me all the details, every bit. Teo at the hookah lounge, Teo having problems with his wife. This is the kind of person. This is the kind of person. This is a rat. This is a rat. This is a snitch. This is an informant. And you know what? This is your countryman, your own countryman. You're going behind his back. So you know what? On Sunday, I'm gonna whip your ass. And you know when you get back to Las Vegas, you'll be on the lookout for the local T for my Lopez, because he'll be looking for you too. Trust me. And if you don't believe me, I'll put it out the straight off his presser. Yes or no? Was it the truth? Yes or no?
That's ratting.
That's a rat. That's a rat. Is that a rat? That's a rat. That's an informant. That's a rat.
What was the consequence?
Yes or no? Were you not ratting on your own country?
What was the consequence?
Were you not ratting on your countryman?
I had both sides of it. If he won, I would fight Teo. If you win, I would have fought you.
But were you not ratting on your own countryman? Yes or no?
How
Did you not first message me?
Do you know the definition of
this
a
guy
rat?
acts like a gangster. He ain't that gangster. He's as fake as that belt. Okay? This guy ain't that gangster.
Why
This
didn't
guy's
you
a
bring the
rat.
belt?
This is an informant. You know what? You didn't get to see him because you missed the first press conference. You didn't get to see him. You'll see him when you want on Friday, and that's the closest you get to him. Show me that fake belt. Where's that fake belt that you really earned? Show me.
It's very
Beautiful.
George mentioned your father, Devin. How difficult has it been, and how's it affected your preparation not having him here?
Yeah, things have definitely been different without my father here, but the show must go on. You know, this is a dream of mine, like I said, and I wasn't gonna turn it down for nothing. My dad, he installed the right things into me that I'm ready. And on fight night, I will show it that my father isn't here, but I'm not leaving without those
The
belts.
support is evident already. It's a sellout. The fans, the support of both my countries are there. I feel it every bit wherever I go. They can't wait to see me handle business on Sunday. So to fight for both my countries and give honour to my countries means the world to me. I die for my country and they die for me. I respect every person in my country. I never turn my back on anyone in my country. So not like this guy, but me, my country, I die for. We brought in some very good sparring partners, but the guy likes to run, he likes to move, nothing special. The holes are there. He's been hurt by an old pensioner in Linares. He was hurt by a little featherweight bantamweight in Jojo Diaz. I was there ringside. I nearly fell asleep, to be honest, because it was that boring. But look, Sunday, I get to step inside them ropes and punish this guy. Huge. This is on, obviously, main event, KO Sports here on pay-per-view, ESPN free to air over in the US. It's amazing. Look, this is what sport's about. I made this happen. I chose the biggest fights possible. I took Yatif and my Lopez, obviously this guy. Everyone knew that I was prepared to fight Lomachenko. That was done. He couldn't make it because of his war. No problem, Devin. You want to step up? Step up. And he did. Okay? But he was forced into this. He is not my mandatory. He is not. Are you my mandatory? Are you my mandatory?
The government wouldn't have put up the money if it wasn't against me.
The government had the money ready for Lomachenko.
Me or Loma.
The government was ready with Lomachenko.
And then Loma couldn't fight, so then you had to pick me.
No, incorrect. I could have fought anyone. I could have fought the garbage man outside if I wanted to, but I chose you. You are not my mandatory.
That's not
I
true.
picked you. So you know what? You're here, and everything is ready to go on Sunday.
Man, what is that actor,
The
bro?
Lopez conference, exactly the same. You know what?
You're acting.
Beautiful. I'd rather be an actor than a rat. I'd rather be an actor than a rat.
You don't know the definition of a rat.
Little snitch. Yeah, go look in the dictionary and have a look it up.
So obviously, Kambosos is trying to get under the skin of Devin Haney before the fight, while simultaneously giving himself the old Barry Horowitz, the self pat on the back, saying this fight's happening because I chose you. You were forced into this. And I think it's kind of a ploy to get Devin to maybe fight out of character, because he spoke on Devin being a runner, how he's been hurt by, lesser competition. I mean, obviously he wants to get Devin emotional, speaking on his father, him not getting into the country, saying it's on them. So yeah, I think this was a very strategic press conference for George Kambosos Jr., but I think he is a very humble man with that being said. So, Devin Haney, nobody wants to fight this guy. Not because there's some risk. I mean, obviously there's a risk. But not because he's been steamrolling guys, knocking guys out. No, he will just flat out outbox you. Of the best boxers in lightweight right now, being Kambosos, Lomachenko, he's a close one though. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, I'm picking Haney as the best boxer of the group. Like I said, Lomachenko is right there. But the best boxer, and I forgot Teofimo Lopez, he's also up there as well. But people don't want to fight him because he will just outbox you and, demoralize you. So with that being said, George Kambosos wanted Lomachenko. Lomachenko's defending his country. So in steps Devin Haney. Now, obviously everybody knows by now, Devin Haney actually shut out George Kambosos Saturday night to become the undisputed lightweight champion. And that is huge. I mean, there hasn't been an undisputed lightweight champion since Pernell Whitaker. And that was when there was only 3 major titles. There's 4 major titles now. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and break down the actual fight here and give you guys a little bit of the highlights as well. And without further ado, here is the fight. A lot of pyro and inferno ablaze in Melbourne, Australia. This is also the site where Ronda Rousey got put to bed by Holly Holm. But out steps Devin Haney. He's loose, he's fresh, he's ready. What a scene it was in Melbourne. And on enemy soil, trying to unseat their king. It's an admirable feat to try to accomplish. Kambosos coming out. Swagger. One thing I will give to Kambosos, I mean, I know all boxers and fighters. I mean, when you're in there, they're both undefeated. Both have that aura of invincibility because they haven't tasted defeated professionally. But the man definitely thought he was going to win this fight. Very confident. He just didn't fight like George Kambosos typically fights. And I think that has a lot to do with Devin Haney and his jab. And as you see here, here's some of the action. Haney would touch touch. When Kambosos got too rowdy, oftentimes Devin Haney would clinch, stifling Kambosos, and then Kambosos had to keep resetting. So it's hard for him to get into the flow state. Tremendous game plan by Haney, and he executed it to a T, taking little to no damage. I mean, it's a fight. Obviously, he's going to get hit here and there, but this was one-way traffic. And a lot of the expert analysts have it as a clean sweep. They said Kambosos, they can't give Kambosos 1 minute of any round. That's tough. I mean, the judges ringside, I think at least one of them gave Kambosos 4 full rounds. Now, granted, this is in Melbourne, where Kambosos is from, so there's a little home cooking. Mama's cooking. Kwame Brown. I call him Kwame Brown, but people say Kwame because they think it's funny. Here we go. So still, as you see, Devin Haney's jab really controlled the fight. I mean, I just don't think Kambosos could get going at all. When he fought Teofimo Lopez, Lopez was willing to exchange, and to his detriment. And Kambosos walked out of there with the belts. You can't fight his fight. You got to fight your fight. Here we go. A little more of the same. Touch, touch, clinch. Touch, touch, clinch. He made him miss a lot, too. I mean, I'm sure that was very frustrating for Kambosos, who just wanted to get his hands on Haney so bad, kept getting his head popped back with the jab. I mean, come on. This is high-level boxing. Fun fact, this is for the real belts, not the fake belts that Rolly and Tank fought for not long ago. The real dogs. A lot of missing. There is a lot here. I think I got highlights from like damn near every round here. As you can see, Kambosos did land some strikes. I mean, it's a fight. The guy's gonna get hit sometimes. I mean, he's not Floyd in there. Even Floyd gets hit. Not very often, but he gets hit. This is just one-way traffic. For the most part, like I said, there's some highlights from Kambosos, but like he never hurt Haney in the fight. And granted, I don't think Haney hurt him as well. I mean, Haney's not some huge puncher, as I alluded to earlier. Jab, jab. Jab, jab, 1, 2. You know, like it's just like rinse, wash, repeat. Like, I mean, I don't think the corner of Kambosos now. I can't knock their game plan. They're high level boxers. They game plan their boxer to a unified world championship, into this fight. So I can't knock him, but it just wasn't working in there. He couldn't get going. You got to switch something up mid fight. I mean, I just felt like it was just more of the same as the rounds went on. Look at that. The jab was the most important strike in the fight. You don't see devastating hooks, devastating uppercuts. Like, it's the jab. That's the most. Look at this right here. Kambosos is frustrated, tries to grab Haney's arm and swing over the top. It's a little dirty tactics. I can't get behind those. I don't care how frustrated you are. Bop, look at that. Right in his face. He kept his hand in his face. Devin Haney, clearly the bigger man. He's a huge lightweight, a huge 135er, and they're already speculating whether or not he's going to vacate these titles to move up in weight. I don't think he should. There's a lot of good fights to be made and a lot of money to be made for Devin Haney and his team. Look at this. Yeah, Kambosos like started throwing wild strikes, missing. And that is the bout. When the judges render their scorecards, of course, like I said, Devin Haney is proclaimed the winner and the undisputed champion of all 4 major world titles in boxing. And there they all are right now, including the lineal title. So, with that being said, where does Devin Haney go from here? You know, there is a rematch clause worked into this fight that Kambosos petitioned to not want. And now I'm guessing he's happy it's there because he's wanting the rematch. Of course he wants the rematch, but the question is, do we need a rematch? You had a shutout here. 12 rounds to kneel, in my opinion. Why the hell would they run this back? And even better question, why the hell would Devin Haney go back across the world or go down under to fight this guy again? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it should happen. But with that being said, let's move on to the post-press conference. And let's see what these guys had to say after the fight.
Yeah, look, I thought I heard him a few times, but that's his game. He likes to run and move, and if he feels that he's ahead on the scorecards, he'll do his thing. But I'm not going to take away from his night. I've been there before when Lopez did that to me, so I'd be a piece of shit if I'd done that to him. But there is a few things where I thought, they were should have been pulled up. But all the best to him. He's the champion now, from what the judges said, and we'll do it again. I thought the fight was very close. From what I've been told, I outlanded him, I outpunched him. You saw the fight, so
you didn't look that way before I was sitting.
But there wasn't much else. I think he might have landed 1 or 2 right hands, but that's about it. There wasn't really nothing else. So I don't feel, my body does not feel like I've been through a 12-round war like I was with a Lopez fight, because we went through it. So
your face looks like it.
that's just a few marks. But if you jumped in there with me too, you'd be the same. Hey, look, I'm the man in the arena. At the end of the day, I made this happen. If I didn't choose this, to protect records, I could afford an easy fight, and look at me, I knocked someone out 2 rounds. But I take the risk, and that's part of the risk. You take risk, you reap reward. But it was his night tonight, and all the best. And you sure that the adversity that I've got to go through now, I'll be back up. I know what I've got to do to beat him in the rematch. We had them game plans. Unfortunately, we couldn't implement the way we wanted to. The ref did let a few things go as well, which should have been, pulled up a touch. But it is what it is. I'll go back to the drawing board with my team, and congratulations to Devin Haney and his team for the win. They came all the way out here, like I did with Lopez, and they got the win today. But I'll be back.
George, for this opportunity. A lot of these guys at the top, they wouldn't give me my shot. I've been begging for my shot for a long time now, and I finally got my shot, and I got a lot of jury here. Yeah, more importantly, more than anything, more than the belts or anything, I wanted to go in the war with my father. Whether it was for 1 belt, 2 belts, however many belts, it was more important for my dad to be there, and it was a blessing that he was able to come in the day before the fight. So it was a hell of an experience. I'm happy that me and him accomplished it together. We've talked about this since we was 8, 9 years old. So this is a dream come true for the both of us. I wouldn't say it was hard to keep him off of me. Honestly, I just was staying relaxed. I could have picked it up, but I just wanted to. I knew that I was, in his backyard, so I just wanted to stay smart and fight my fight. So it really wasn't. It was more like when I wanted to fight, I was fighting at my rhythm and taking away his best attributes, and that's what I did. I wouldn't say that he had anything that was like, he never showed that he was like on me. So for you to say, to keep him off of you, that's like kind of like.
It seems like your style is
something that George is going to struggle with unless he was to change something drastically. Do you think there's anything that George can throw at you that would help him win a rematch?
I mean, what kind of question is that? Like,
Well, let me
what
word it differently.
What would I say? Oh yeah, he could, if he does this, he could win the rematch. Like, come on now. No, there's nothing that he could do to you could maybe have success better in a rematch, but win, that's like left field once again. But he, at the end of the day, he has to go back to the drawing board and make adjustments. I can't really say what exactly, because anything that he does, I'm gonna be prepared for. Like I said before the fight, he was saying a lot, but I said I will handicap him of his best attributes, and that's what I did. He really didn't land any clean, solid shots, and and if you look at my face right here, obviously we all know that my cut man couldn't make it in. He got stuck at customs, and I had to get a replacement, which I appreciate him coming in and stepping in, but I didn't have an in swell. Watch the whole fight. I never had an in swell the whole fight, which I make no excuses, but we were headbutting, and but that's what caused this swelling on my eye.
Devin, if George wants a rematch here back in Melbourne or Sydney, Brisbane, if he wanted that, he was able to enact that clause, that contract, would you happily have a rematch here in Melbourne?
I mean, it's really up to my team. We want to come up with something that makes sense. Up to Bob, my dad, to come up with a game plan. Everything got to make sense. But if they're up for it, then I'm up for it. But like I said, this is a business. And before the fight, he told me, it got to make sense. And we did. I made sure me and my team made sure that we did everything that to make sense, whether I had to take less money, whether we had to travel, whether I had to come without my dad. We made a lot of sacrifices to make the fight happen, and it all paid off.
Yes, it all paid off because he went in there, snatched the belts, and left like a bandit in the night. Yes, the rematch is not happening. I mean, obviously, I don't have any information to know whether or not that's true. But Devin Haney, has been saying, oh, it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. Well, obviously, it don't make sense. At the post-press conference, I didn't put this in there, but his dad goes, George didn't make weight. Will he make weight? Yeah, because George was a little bit over on the scales before this fight and had to take the allocated time to cut a little more to make weight. With that being said, this fight ain't happening again. There is no reason for this fight to happen again at this time. I mean, I can see if Kambosos gets another big win or two, but no, there's way too many big fights on the table to run this back again. Big ups to George Kambosos. Like he said, nobody saw him here. Nobody expected him to be here. He put in the work, and then he went in that's MMA. That's MMA. He went in the ring and performed, and nobody can take that away from him. But he did not perform at championship level on Saturday night. So, I mean, obviously he didn't get knocked out, but if you go 12 full rounds and don't win a damn round, why do you think the fight's close? Why do you think, that you deserve a rematch? Okay, it's in the clause. It's in the clause. So what would happen if, say, Devin Haney says, you know what? I'm not gonna fight you again. What can Kambosos do? Sue him? Breach of contract? Let's just kill that talk. All right. If the fight happens, I'll watch, but I don't think there's any reason for them to run this back again. Let me get to my last point here. The belts. Because there's a lot of confusion pertaining to the belts. I got something right here. Unpopular fact. Devin Haney was the interim WBC lightweight champion. Interim! And why do I say that? Because the real champion was Lomachenko. Yes, Lomachenko, he originally won the vacant belt. Lomachenko did. And they turned it into a franchise belt so Lomachenko could chase undefeated, without having to face the mandatory WBC contenders. So, in the meantime, the interim Devin Haney fought for a vacant belt and won it. Okay. So it is asinine for me. It is asinine to think that Haney was the undisputed WBC champion heading into this fight. Now, I don't give a damn about them saying, oh, well, Lomachenko vacated. You can't vacate lineal titles. You can't strip a lineal title. Why? Because there's no promotional sanctioning body behind lineal titles. No. It's just you're either the guy or you're not. And there's no organization that could be like, okay, you're not the guy. Okay, until you get beat. Tyson Fury defeated Klitschko, right? Got all those belts, all but the WBC belt. And he didn't do the rematch. They stripped him. Guess what? Tyson Fury is still the lineal damn champion. He wins the WBC belt off of Deontay Wilder, making him a man that has held every major world title in heavyweight boxing. Okay? So why are they trying to match him with Usyk? Because they want to unify all the belts. Yes, Fury had all the belts at one time, but he never had them all together. So if he beats Usyk, that'll happen. But let's get back to this fight, okay? Because Haney was the interim champion. Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez. Lopez lost to Kambosos. And that's why you see Kambosos with a WBC belt. Because it's the real belt from the real champion. When Lomachenko won the belt, was he interim champion? Hell no! Haney was. No disrespect to Devin Haney. But a lot of people are up in arms about ESPN's list of undisputed champions. And they're including the likes of Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos Jr. And everybody's like, well, no, Haney is the WBC champion. Okay, this is where I sit on that. I agree with Kambosos and Lopez not being on that list, okay? And for this reason. The belts were not unified until Saturday night. Because no matter how many belts Kambosos came out there with, also the WBC belt, Haney has a WBC belt. Same weight class. So there's a dispute. But Saturday night ended all those disputes. So what did Haney say at the press conference? He said, I'm still, what did he say? The email champion and the undisputed champion. All those other belts come second to what's sitting right here in front of me. And he's absolutely right. But before the fight, there was a dispute. That belt that Kambosos wore that said WBC World Champion on it, yeah, he took that off of Lopez. And Lopez took that off of Lomachenko. That is the lineal title. You know what I mean? So Haney unified the belts on Saturday night. And I'm glad to clear that up for you guys because a lot of people don't understand these belts, and understandably so, because boxing throws so many belts around, it's crazy. Like there's sanctioning bodies like WBA that'll have a franchise super champion in every damn weight class. So they can go unify belts and they can slap another belt on some other schmo. That's just how they do things. Waters it down. And it confuses casual fans that just don't know what the hell is going on. But with that being said, Devin Haney went in there and handled his damn business. And for that, I'm very impressed. Yes, he might not have some disgustingly strong knockout power, but the man is a boxing aficionado by the highest grade. And that's why nobody wants to face him. You think Tank's going to get in there and knock him out? Some people say Rolly outboxed him. Haney's a way better boxer than Rolly. You think he's going to make the mistake and run into Tank's left hook? I don't think so. If Rolly can outbox Tank, and I'm not saying he did, but a lot of people are saying that, If Rolly can outbox Tank for that many rounds, what do you think Devin Haney's going to do? What do you think Devin Haney's going to do? Okay? So, hey, that is championship rounds. Hey, we had a good fight. Could have been better. A lot of people will say it was boring. You know, Ryan Garcia on the social media chirping and whatnot. You know what I mean? Fight somebody, Ryan Garcia, instead of people that have already been beaten pretty badly and decisively, and people that nobody knows. He's calling out Gervonta, saying that Haney's boring. Didn't Devin Haney defeat Ryan Garcia in the amateurs? Look that up, but I'm pretty sure he did. But with that being said, Devin Haney is the king on top of the throne. And there's no other road to glory in the lightweight division that doesn't lead through his town. So, who's he fight next? Tank? Ryan Garcia is trying to get that fight. Lomachenko? He's defending his country very admirably. I don't know, but I'll be here to cover it. Thanks for watching. As always, shout out to Workman Carpet Care, Mars Media, Rock, and the P1s. Hey, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this fight. Leave it in the comments. And of course, until next time, do your very best to stay frosty.
Trying his best to keep his head up, but he's fed up. Trying not to lose his mind. You show him love and then they cross you every time. No wonder why he's like this. They took his love, now them drugs got him like this. No wonder why he's like this. Ain't got no more to give, now he's heartless. Them pills talking to him, he depressed. When he can't get them, he be breaking out in sweats. I hate to see my nigga go out like that, no, no. Not like that, no. He's trying, but he's so sick of fighting, yeah. Should've got down on his knees and prayed. Steady went the other way. Trying his best to keep